What's going on, everybody? This is Jeff with Living in Arizona, and today we're going to talk about what's going on in Arizona. I just went out around the city here in the valley, and businesses are opening up, and they're seeing like overflow of traffic. I mean, the barber shop, you can't even get a haircut without a 3 hour wait, or you got to make an appointment. It's just everywhere you're going, you're seeing these long lines. You're seeing this. Basically this excitement to get back out there and go back to normal life. And yeah, so this got relaxed. This order happened on Friday. So we're going to talk about that in this video. If you're excited about this video and excited about Arizona opening back up to do business, crush the like button, smash the heck out of that like button if you guys are happy about that. And let's go ahead and talk about this. So Phoenix area malls, they're opening up as of Friday. So due to COVID-19, they were closed. And you've got Biltmore Fashion Park opening up. You've got the retail side and some of the restaurants like the Breakfast Club, California Pizza Kitchen, getting ready to open on May 11th. Desert Ridge, all the way up in North Phoenix, May 8th, Breakfast Kitchen, takeout only. And then you have May 11th, you'll have more restaurants, Kohl's and Flower Child in restaurant dining on May 11th. So May 11th is when things are really going to come back into the zone. Out here in Santan Valley, you've got American Eagle, AT&T, Avita, Experience Center Bike, Masters, Buckle, Dick's Sporting Goods. Yeah, I like Dick's Sporting Goods. I'm happy about that. Those are opening up, so I might be taking a trip back down there to Dick's Sporting Goods and getting some stuff that I've been needing to get for fishing. Anyway, Santan Village, we just talked about that, Tempe Marketplace. And then stores like barbershops, salons, they were all given the green light to open up. Like I said, I just went out there in town. And, it used to be everyone, where the lines were in the takeout lines, like in the fast food places. I mean, you'd see very long lines to get fast food. But now that they're opening up some of these other places like the barbershop, the nail salon, I mean, this is really exciting for me because people are excited to be back out doing things. And, there's still a lot of people who are really pissed off that the government is opening up the country, opening up some of these states. But at the end of the day, my overall observation is people want to get back to their life. They're not, from the consensus that I've seen, they're like, look, the virus exists. They understand the risk, and they're ready to get back to work. They're ready to get their friends and family back to work. They're ready to get this economy back up and going. And that's just from what I've already seen from, the masses. And, yeah, I do. Even on this channel, I get comments from people. For the most part, you guys in the audience want Arizona to open back up. You want to see businesses open for business. And you want to see them succeed. You want to see this economy come roaring back. Some people speculate that, they don't want the economy to come roaring back because of the election. They want the economy to stay low for a little bit, which, I mean, take the politics out of it and just think about life. I think everyone should want a strong economy regardless of your political agenda or politics. I mean, let's get back to normal. Let's get these camping sites open. Let's get the lakes back open. Let's get the river communities back open. And, in Arizona, they have had some incidents with the COVID-19, but it hasn't really been that bad. In fact, from what I was hearing is hospitals were actually going into bankruptcy because they didn't have as many patients as they thought. Also because people are not out doing things, they're getting these injuries and stuff. And so some of these hospitals were actually going bankrupt. So it went from people worried that the hospitals were going to be overflowing to not enough patients and kind of slow. And, so that's a good thing, right? Nobody wants to see a bunch of people having to go to the hospital. But I'm just saying, hey, thank you for that, America's Comet. Where's the best place to buy land? Okay, I can answer that question in this video. But anyway, okay, so let's see what some of these comments are. Thanks to the 19 people who crushed up the likes. Michelle says, still need to be cautious. Yeah, you still need to be cautious. What I'm basically saying as of right now is do not live in fear, but have rational optimism. Anyone who tells you that rational optimism is unnecessary or not possible. I don't think. I think they live their life in fear of everything. These are the same people that when they see me traveling to Cambodia or Vietnam or China or wherever I'm traveling, they're calling me crazy because I'm traveling. These are the same people who will not travel because they're scared. Even before COVID-19, if it's not one thing, it's another. They're finding reasons to be scared. But you still do need to exercise caution with everything. It's like driving, for example. Driving is the most dangerous thing most people do every single day. And some people, they really like to dig into that gas pedal and just accelerate and drive fast. I mean, even some of my neighbors, they were saying, hey, I'm noticing you guys are back on the road. You non-essential workers are back on the road. Just in case you didn't get the memo, we're driving faster now, because they're saying that the traffic with all these cars back on the road, they're driving slow, and they're saying, hey, we drive faster nowadays with the way that we've been doing things. But again, you want to be cautious when you're driving, right? You don't want to take it for granted. So, I mean, in life, heck, you let your kids go play outside in the street, that could be dangerous, right? I mean, there's so many different things that could go wrong. And if you're not practicing proper hygiene and you're not being conscious of that, it's never a good thing, right? So the question is, where's the best place to buy land in Phoenix, near Phoenix? I don't know. What's your price, man? But I've always said on this channel, I really like New River. I like out here in Southeast Phoenix. There's some pretty nice places out in the Santan Mountains. If you got big bucks, you better be going up to Cave Creek. If you got bigger bucks, you could go to Paradise Valley, but I don't think they really got any more land out there. You could probably go out towards Tonto Verde. That might be nice. Let's see. Casino in Arizona making money. So people want to do this thing with casinos. I've had this come up quite a few times. People are like, what's up with the casinos? When can I go back to the casinos? Because if you guys are just moving out here to Arizona, one of the things that people like to do on the weekends is do these staycations at like Casino Arizona or Talking Stick or Gila River Casino. And, that was shut down for 2 months. So with those coming back online, people are pretty excited for that. Robert says, hey, Vietnam was a beautiful country except for the rounds passing overhead. Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. It was weird going to Vietnam when I went there because, the whole time I was thinking about like there was a big war here, the American-Vietnam War. Everywhere I was going, there was some sort of remnants of the Vietnam-American War. They call us, the American imperialists. So obviously, but, it's just like any other place. But I mean, to say that you need to be in fear of going there is, it's just like these same people who are scared of everything. They're scared of everything because they just watch the news. They're scared of Muslims. They're scared of COVID-19. They're scared of Mexicans. They're scared of people from other places. They're scared of Germans. They're scared of British. Who knows what they're scared of these days? But people just watch that news and they're scared of every damn thing except for what's going on in their little circle. I don't know. Maybe it's better ignorance is bliss. What do you think of that? How about that? Becky says, I'm glad to see spending start again. We need to support small businesses. That's exactly what I'm saying. I mean, this idea that it's okay to watch these small businesses shut down their mom and pop shop for 2 months and all this and that. I mean, I don't think I was ever really too cool with it, to be completely honest with you. I mean, even when I was traveling in Southeast Asia and coronavirus was all over Southeast Asia since January when I was over there, I mean, I realized what was going on. I mean, I was making, again, rational optimism, but I was also making educated decisions as I was moving around, right? Like, I was like, hey, is it getting really bad? Like, is my life going to be in danger? Or is there a little bit of sensational headlines happening and a little bit of fear mongering taking place? So it's about weighing the risk, and if at any point it gets really hairy and people start dropping like flies, that's your time to shelter in place probably and stay at home. But out here in Arizona, we never really saw that ever. I heard New York saw it. And I mean, even this is another thing that I'm going to be completely honest with you. Even though they did this stay-at-home orders and this quarantine, all my neighbors were interacting with each other. All it was, instead of going out in public, they were going over to each other's houses, 10 to 15 to 20 people at a time. And they were still having fun partying, going back and forth. And it was just happening, whether it was right or wrong. This is what people were doing. They weren't like standing 6 feet apart everywhere they're going. Yeah, sure. When you went into these public venues, maybe then, people were 6 feet apart, I guess. But for the most part, people were interacting left and right all over my community and everywhere. Even in the grocery stores, like people would go to these grocery stores and they would be like shoulder to shoulder sometimes. And you'd be like, if their thing was really that viral and it was really taking over the world and it was really going to be this big killer, I mean, it's right there. People are right next to each other, left and right, all over this place. And, well, I don't know. So either way, I'm very excited to see that the Arizona economy is opening up. A lot of people don't like to hear that. I don't understand why people wouldn't support that. But believe it or not, there are people who are absolutely pissed off at the governor and at the president of the United States for insisting we open up this country to be back online to do business. There's people who are pissed off about that. Okay, pissed off, like really angry. Anyway, thanks, Cool Johnny, for saying that. Robert says, we've been doing takeout food to support the businesses around us. That's very good. Very good. Very good. And Nick Lee says, from Spokane, Washington, Las Vegas just went into phase 1. See, I don't know what phase 1 is. George says, what do I think about Sheriff Mark Lamb? Well, Sheriff Lamb, you're talking about the Pinal County Sheriff. He's a popular one with the people out here. I mean, out here in Pinal County, I guess he's even been on CNN or Fox News or something, but they'll wear like shirts that say that I support Sheriff Lamb. So he's kind of like, he's the chief law enforcement officer, but he's also kind of like a celebrity in a way. So that's kind of interesting. Chamay says, did you see Donald Trump in Arizona? No, I did not see Donald Trump in Arizona. I know he came here. Paul Leach says, people can shop at Lowe's and Walmart. We can shop anywhere else, just don't squeeze on people. Yeah, I mean, and again, do what you got to do that's best for you. Like people, it's kind of like raising kids, right? You're like, okay, I'm going to release you into the world now, son. You're free to do your thing. Just, I've taught you what you should and should not do. And you got to release them and let them go live their lives. You can't just baby these people constantly. I mean, and if you're one of those people who want to be babied and told that you need to do this and that because you don't know how to do it, okay. But there's a lot of people out there who like their freedom to be able to make educated decisions on their own. I know these people because I talk to them all the time. I hear how frustrated they are. For most of the people I know in the daily life, not on the digital world, pretty much everyone I talk to wants to open this dang country up. They want to open this state up. They want to open their businesses up. They want to get back to work, and they don't really like what's happened. And prior to this video, just so you guys know, there was some article that was, I don't know if it's true or not, but they were saying that the president has sidelined Fauci and Birx. I don't know if it's true though. Can anyone tell me that? When they're saying sideline, they're saying like, he's basically saying, you guys, we're shutting down this commission or whatever it's called, the council that was supposed to be advising the president on what's dangerous, what's contagious, and what the protocols need to be. And from what I understood, at least I saw that sent to me from someone who shares media with me, and she said, she sent it, but the guy in the video said that the president has sidelined Dr. F and Birx. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Rodney says Sheriff Lamb is on PD Live every week. Oh yeah, I mean, people like him. I don't really know him. I mean, he's a law enforcement official, and I think one of the things that people really liked was he said that he wasn't going to enforce. He was going to be very lax on the enforcement about people wearing masks and other things like that. And I know that a lot of the people out here in our community that we live in, Southeast Phoenix, were very appreciative of that. Because they consider that to be a freedom fighting spirit to have, which is if you're concerned, you have the right to stay home. If you want to wear a mask, you also can wear a mask. But also, if you want to go out and live your daily life and do these things and you feel responsible enough to do that, you also are free to do so. And he's not going to, like they did in California and these other places, they put people up to gunpoint and they're like, we're citing tickets and all this and that. And people were like, why do you want to live in a country that does that? That is not America. That is not the American way. Is is telling people how to live. I mean, I guess the word that they used was it's unlawful to what they were doing was unlawful. What the government was enforcing was an unlawful unconstitutional encroachment. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. You guys are smart enough. You're all big boys and girls. I mean, if you are concerned and you feel like you have a chance to get a disease, please, by all means, stay home. And I hope your employer will allow you to work from home. I think that if you're also strong enough and healthy enough and believe in yourself enough to be able to go out into the public and take necessary steps to wash your hands and stay hygienic, unless it gets to a point where people are dropping like flies left and right, then let's keep this going. Anyways, Daniel R., can we go to Lake Pleasant to camp? I believe there is camping in Lake Pleasant. There was a recent this lake that I'm looking at right now is called Lake Reed on Mount Graham, Reed's Lake. And it's kind of next to Mount Lemons, east of Tucson near Safford. And I was looking at going up there because the Arizona Game and Fish has actually announced that they've been restocking the lakes with fish. And so if you're used to living here, you know that typically you don't go camping in the desert campsites like Lake Pleasant or Bartlett or Saguaro, especially for a weekend camping in the desert areas this time of year, because it's in the hundreds, right? And it's really easy to get dehydrated. So you're going to want to go up to the high country or to places like Mount Graham, where it's 9,000 feet elevation and 85 degrees in the daytime, or 80 degrees even. So at this time of year, you can go to Lake Pleasant, but I would probably not want to go camping there unless I absolutely had to. So I would be looking at more places like my sister. She went to Lake Mary up in Flagstaff today, which is just beyond Oak Creek River, but it's near Flagstaff. And then, there's plenty of lakes to go to that are not in the desert. So thank you, Michelle. She says, hit the like button. And DLP says, it's sad when you see restaurant that has been in business for 40 years go out of business. That's sad. That is sad. And it's something like this that happens, and it has to dawn on you as you're going around. You're like, that restaurant, right? It's been closed now for 2 months. How are they going to stay in business? How are they able to pay their bills? And how are they going to be able to recover from this? And I'll tell you how. By people coming back out and sitting down at those tables and, safely, right? I mean, people are still being cautious, like Michelle said, it's about being cautious, but, getting out there. Hey, thanks, Robert. And Paul Lee, sad thing is they've already devastated the economy. Many businesses won't bounce back too, no matter what we do. We've already been in lockdown too long. The damage has been done. Well, that's what I was trying to say earlier is when you're going out there, you're seeing that people are getting out there and turning out in what I would say is record numbers, in the sense that, like, getting a haircut, I need a haircut, right? Like, I've been trying to get a haircut for a long time. And, it's just going in there, there's a 3-hour wait. So, but, I'm not mad. I'm like, hey, it's good to see people, feeling confident enough to go about their daily lives, because to me, I like to see confidence. I like to see optimism. I like to see faith in humanity. I like to see faith in society. I like to see coming together. I like to see supporting each other. I like to see community. I don't like this whole fear factor thing that I've been seeing for the last 2 months. Some people love it. Some people, like, I even have family members who are like extremely left, and they just say some of the most crazy things. Like, I even have an aunt who told me, she's like, I love paying a lot of taxes, and she wasn't kidding. And I was just like, what? Like, my dad was even like, he doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. But, she's my aunt. I love her. We still get along and everything. But some of the things she says are just, she's like, oh, keep the country closed, this, that. I'm just like, but, we're family. I'm not going to disown my aunt because she has what I consider to be radical views. Michelle says, I'm with you. I don't want to live in fear. Yeah. I mean, living in fear is, not the way to live. I mean, I've even had irrational fears, like, being scared of spiders, being scared of heights or whatever. Those things can be paralyzing, right? So I understand that there's people out there who can have irrational fears and they can't control it. And that's really devastating. But some of it can be, coming from elsewhere. JC, people, this whole lockdown thing is a load of crap. That's what I've been hearing a lot. If you talk to any of my neighbors around here, they are freaking pissed about this stuff, man. They are like, get me back to work. Let's get this economy back on. And we're talking people who are like coming together, like at a park today. We played kickball, right? Maybe 25 of us. No one wore a mask. You wouldn't even know there was like a pandemic, right? No one was in fear. I'm not saying that's bad or good, but no, I didn't see anyone really feeling concerned. But the second you turn on the media and you watching Jake Tapper, CNN and all that, you're like, oh my God. Because right on the side of Jake Tapper or Anderson Cooper's side of their screen is just like, they're just talking about death toll, global death toll, local death toll. And you're just, and that's all his show is focused on, Anderson Cooper and Jake Tapper. And look, they might be nice guys, whatever, but you almost start to wonder every single night, because you don't even know about this corona thing until you turn on the news. Like, you wouldn't even know about it if you didn't turn on the news. Seriously. I mean, I guess you would know about it if you went to Home Depot and some guy at the front desk said, go this way in the line and go around and wear this mask, or Costco or whatever. But outside of that, you wouldn't even know about it. So, I mean, Christopher Brett Sherman, exactly. This is BS and we need to get back to work and back to normal, the old normal, not the commie BS new normal. Well, there you go. America's Command says, I think it's stupid apocalyptic TV shows like Walking Dead that program people to like this and be like this way. Oh yeah, I mean, I've even watched some YouTube videos about the apocalypse, and while I'm watching it, I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe this thing is real. And then I like deprogram, I unplug and get away from it, what was programming my mind. And I step back and I'm like, man, that was almost convincing. They almost had me thinking that we were headed towards a Book of Eli kind of moment. You guys have seen the Book of Eli. Could it happen? Yeah. I mean, I'm doing some prepping. Actually, I was talking to you guys about doing some videos about all the tactical stuff that I've done, or tactical equipment that I've acquired since this kind of kicked off. I've even went so far as looking into Geiger counters. Some of you guys don't know what Geiger counters is, or Faraday bags. I'm going to show you guys all that if you guys want. But a Geiger counter measures radiation in the air, or radiation around you, and then a Faraday bag is good for EMP. And I was just going to put a solar charger in that Faraday bag just for all time keeps, right? But these are all things that, through my research, that I discovered. There's also MOLLE tactical gear for the U.S. Army, things that you can get from like storing gas cans, like NATO grade gas storage for long term. Because those little red cans, those don't work. Those won't last. It'll evaporate. You need a NATO grade gas can where you can store that water. You can store that gas in there for 5 to 10 years, and it won't evaporate. So I wanted to show you guys all of this stuff that I have in my garage, if you guys are interested, tools that I've done for prepping, because, outside of pandemics, a lot of us didn't have the hand sanitizers and the masks and all these things that a pandemic would, wipe off the shelves, the toilet paper and whatnot. So now we're kind of prepared for pandemics, but there's other things that could happen, right? And these aren't doomsday things. These aren't about living in fears. I mean, you could go build a doomsday shelter up in Strawberry or Show Low or somewhere like that. But at the end of the day, it's about it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. It's like a gun, right? None of us, I like to think that none of us want to use their gun and shoot and kill someone. But if you have to defend your house at 3 o'clock in the morning because you have an intruder who's got nefarious or evil agenda and tracking down your family and doing some robbing and stuff in your house, you might need to have a gun, because especially if he's armed, right? So better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. That's why I got into the Geiger stuff, and I got into the Faraday bags, and I got into all that equipment. And I want to share that with you if you guys are interested. Paul Leach says, I just want my stimulus check before Jesus comes back. Hey, I heard they were going to do another round of stimulus, actually. Did you guys hear about that? So from what I understand is there's still this, or there's this new proposal that's kind of been, it's called the CARES Act for the people or something like that. Anyway, it's $2,000 a month for the next 6 months. And all you have to be is over 16. Did you guys hear about that? C. Anderson says, I'd rather have Jesus come back sooner. Yeah, man. Well, hey, we'll see. We'll see. That's another thing. I don't get too big into the religion thing because I've seen a lot of these doomsday preachers start talking all this big noise about apocalypse, and they've been talking. So far as I know, they've been talking about that for years. I mean, the guy who had him drink Kool-Aid down in Grenada or whatever. Remember that guy? The guy. Remember the term? Don't drink the Kool-Aid. You know where that comes from? That guy down in Grenada or whatever. He had him drinking the Kool-Aid, and they were all. It's like the Hale-Bopp guys. They all wanted to pass away and go ride that Hale-Bopp comet. But they've been talking about this doomsday thing. The Arch Davidians, David Koresh down in Waco, Texas. I mean, these doomsdayers have been waiting on Jesus and waiting on the end of the times to come. And what does it say in the Bible anyway? It just says you'll never know. No one will ever know. And anyone who tries to say they know, they're a false prophet. So that whole thing is, hey, I don't even pay attention to it, Unsolitary says water and electrolytes. Wilford Little says, who are going to pay for all this money once the dust settles? Well, from what I understand is it's QE. It's quantitative easing. And what quantitative easing is based on what I understand, and I'm getting mixed responses and mixed answers, but if you look up quantitative easing and QE, it's basically money printing. It's where they're creating new money. It's new money in the supply. So what's his name over at Jerome Powell? Hey, just add 2, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, $2 trillion. I think that was billion, right? But another trillion, another set of zeros, and you got $2 trillion just printed out of thin air into the U.S. economy. And one of the reasons they do this money printing, inflation of the economy, is, remember back in the 1970s, your grandpa used to say, oh, back in my day, my rent was $120 a month. Nowadays, you're like, well, it's $1,200 nowadays. Think about all that inflation that occurred since then. That was inflation through money printing in the fiat currency system. And so what happens with inflation is basically, it's really interesting. I mean, you have to look into it, but from what I understand, that's what they've done is inflated the economy with new money. Tamara says, Jeff, there are many stimulus packages currently proposed. There are many YT channels speaking of it. Stephen Gardner seems to be the one good, practical one, in my opinion, if you're interested in it. Thank you, Tamara, for sharing that. There is also Graham. There's Graham and there's Meet Kevin. There's 2 other YouTubers. Look up Meet Kevin and Graham Steffens. And the one that she just said is Stephen Gardner. But yeah, I mean, those guys, they talk about it all the time. They talk about all the proposed stimulus packages that are out there. And so if you guys want to look that up, you can. Michelle says, eBay, we've stayed in Williams when we went to the Grand Canyon. Can't wait to go back. Williams, yes. Williams is just outside of Flagstaff on the way to the Grand Canyon. I2 Ninja says, we would like to move to Arizona. Do you know any accountants who speak Italian? Not offhand. That's a great question. Speak Italian. Wow, you got me on that one. that one, I know some who can speak Spanish, okay, but Italian, I don't know. Thanks to the 60 people who crushed up the likes, by the way. CE Bound Sound says, Jeff, I appreciate your vids and info. I have 2 interviews for internal transfers with my company next week. Excited to get the fam out of Cali and into Phoenix. That'll be exciting. Just always remember, wherever you're coming from, the grass is always greener on the other side. It doesn't mean that your life is going to just magically just transform. It's a subtle adjustment. I think this is one thing that I've also got to say, because it's again, rational optimist, right? Is reasonable, within reason. Expect your situation to change and things to be different, but it is a matter of perspective, and the heat, the weather, the lack of community. Because wherever you're moving from, say your family all lives in California, you take that for granted that your family is just a hop, skip, and a jump away, maybe. But then you come out here and you're like, oh wow, it's not so easy to be that far away from mom during Mother's Day, or that far away from dad during his birthday, or that far away from my nieces and nephews. Because there are going to be challenges with your move, and you have to accept that, and you have to also prepare your kids for that, because that has been a challenge with anyone who moves, right? MS Lauren, thank you for the super chat, by the way. Can you tell us about new Interstate 11? Hope it's new. Just heard about it. Okay, let me make sure I know what I-11, Interstate 11. Let me see if I can get is that the one going to Vegas? Yeah, that's the one going to Vegas, right? Through the west side of Phoenix? Okay, let me take a look on it. I looked into it. I know they were going to be building it out by Buckeye, but you want to know the proposed route. So this is basically a super corridor that would get you from, I think it's going to be connected down to Mexico, all the way down to Nogales, right? And it would go through Casa Grande and then all the way out towards like Buckeye area on the south side of South Mountain. And then it's just like a slingshot ride all the way up to Vegas. Right now, when you go to Vegas, you got to go through Wickenburg and you got to go through like Kingman. And this one's going to be like a high-speed corridor getting you straight up there. It's kind of like what happened when they improved the I-10. Going to Los Angeles used to take 6 to 8 hours to drive there. Nowadays, some people can get there in like 4.5 hours to Los Angeles. This is what's now going to happen to Vegas. It's going to trim 30 to 45 minutes, maybe even an hour off the whole trek to Vegas. So that's Interstate 11. I don't know when they're going to build it. I'd like to think they're going to build it sooner than later. Arizona Department of Transportation says they have a formal comment period after 3 years of study, technical analysis, and public involvement. The Arizona Department of Transportation and Federal Highway Administration are ready for public review and comment on draft Tier 1. Interstate 11 is envisioned as a multi-use corridor that would provide a connection from Mexico to the Hoover Dam, connecting with I-11 in Nevada. So that's Arizona's obligation to the highway, Interstate 11. But it's going to go, that's just what Arizona has to do, from Nogales to Hoover Dam. But then Nevada takes it over. Nevada Department of Transportation will build their side of the tracks, right? Cool Johnny says, if you're afraid of spiders, do you think it's a bad idea to move to Phoenix? No. I mean, I've seen some black widow in my backyard. As you know, black widows will bite you. You can tell they have a little red dot on the bottom. They spin a web that's in the ground, but you see them occasionally. I do see a lot of people who are very scared to move to Arizona for multiple different reasons. And from my experience, none of them are really just. The one that maybe the two that are maybe kind of legitimate is the extreme heat. If you're really scared of extreme heat, that could be kind of legitimate. Maybe there's more than two. Another one that people kind of seem to be a little bit fearful of is the potential of drought or dehydration that could occur, because we live in a desert, and if a drought really happened, where will Arizona get water? But from what we're told by the state, there is about 20 to 30 years of water reservations in the water table and all these different things that Arizona has backup water supplies. The other one maybe, I guess, is rattlesnakes. But then again, what state doesn't have rattlesnakes in the South? I mean, all the way from Florida to California, they have rattlesnakes. So, I mean, it's not like something that's just exclusive out here, although you will see rattlesnakes out here. There are rattlesnakes for sure. Paul Leach says, cool, Johnny, it's not a bad idea to move to Phoenix if you're afraid of spiders. Just be sure to set up pest control right away, especially during the summer. There you go. Yes. I mean, you want to go with a solid pest control company, not these fly-by-night guys who knock on your door and you're like, who's your company? And they're like, oh, I'm with Johnny Pest Control, and we do it. No, not Johnny Pest Control, but I'm just making up some name. Cool AZ Pest Control or something like that. And you're like, oh, okay, what do you guys do? And he starts telling you all this story, and then you're like, sign up with him, and he's just putting some basic stuff in there. It's not really like strong pest control. So then like 2 weeks later, you got all these bugs in your backyard, and you're like, I thought I paid for pest control. This isn't working. There are some guys who do better. There's some companies out there who do better jobs than others. Yeah, Rich says, don't forget traffic. Trying to see what this guy just said. Do you recommend having your house sealed for scorpions? If that's a thing, you could probably do that. Yeah. Living in the desert takes some time getting used to, but after a while, it's no big deal. There you go. Yeah. So there's a lot of different things to talk about here, but anyways, just wanted to go live and announce that. Thanks to the 72 people who crushed up the likes, and we've been on live stream for 35 minutes, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Do you guys want me to make that video about the garage? Things that I have in my garage for the protection. Also, if you want, I did put a video yesterday of the office, my office. I showed you guys around the things that I have in my office for efficiency, and I actually turned the camera around and showed you what's in front of me and what's to the side here and what's to the other side. So if you haven't seen that video or the Arizona driving video, things to have in your car, go ahead and check that out. Also, it's on this channel. These are the last two videos that were posted. So I'll make that garage video, and we'll see you guys on the next one.